Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as the Decatur City Manager. Every week you can look forward to this very short video for some more information, updated information, new information about what's going on with your city government. As we are making this video recording, the Illinois General Assembly is in session. Oftentimes the session starts in January, but it doesn't really become substantive until after middle of March or so, and I don't think this legislative session will be any different. Which doesn't mean that they waste their time in the early part of the session. It means that legislation that's going to advance oftentimes doesn't get out of committee or is in a position to really see passage and serious consideration until later in the term. And it's during that time that we try to assess what's going to probably stay in committee and what's not going to advance, what is going to advance that we have to pay a great deal of attention to. Sadly, the Illinois Municipal League and its partner 1,200 some cities in the state of Illinois usually have to spend most of our time fending off legislation that is damaging to local governments, and the current legislative session may be no exception. The legislative hopper has quite a few bills that would significantly increase the benefit structure and the cost of downstate fire and police pensions that in the case of Decatur would add millions of dollars every year to the cost of pensions, driving those pension costs and as a consequence property taxes up. And those proposals are being made at a time when the legislature is also proposing to eliminate permanently the grocery tax that the city of Decatur and all municipal governments charge for. It's an extension of the sales tax on grocery items. Now, I certainly understand why the legislature and the governor's office might propose such a measure, because if people don't have to worry about paying a small sales tax on grocery items, then something as essential as food supply might be made financially more feasible for them. We understand that. We understand the legislative intent. But there's been no attention given to how those monies might be replaced in local government. In some cases, millions of dollars to a single unit of government that has to come up with that from some other source, like property taxes or food and beverage taxes or utility taxes or some of the other taxes, none of which are popular. And so we regret that the legislature didn't give thought to that and didn't enter into a dialogue at all with local governments about the importance that we attach to maintaining our local revenues, because they're tied directly to the services we provide to our citizens and to local businesses. Nevertheless, we are trying to be innovative, despite limited financial resources, continue to try to be innovative in the services and the programs that we pursue. One example of that has to do with what we call EV readiness, electric vehicle readiness. The city was fortunate last year to be the recipient of a planning grant of about $250,000 so that we might plan for and eventually carry out infrastructure improvements intended to support fleets that might convert to EV charging, make sure that the I-72 corridor has sufficient charging on it, and that vehicles that need charging locally have a system that will facilitate that. Not only in terms of where they're placed, but also making sure that the electrical grid, mostly maintained by Ameren, is sufficient to handle it as well. Another key reason for making sure that we pursue this grant is that there's a significant amount, billions of dollars of money set aside by the federal government for EV infrastructure, either in the form of the charging stations themselves, or the necessary improvements to the electrical grid, or other infrastructure related to it. And we want to make sure that the city of Decatur is able to access those federal monies. Well, a key sort of ticket to entry, if you will, and in order to be eligible for some of those grant programs, is to complete an EV readiness program. We've been conducting several surveys through different mediums, on social media, on our website. We have a consultant who's trying to get the word out. As with surveys that the city has done in the past, it's sometimes difficult, given all the different media choices that all of our citizens have, to get that out to citizens. So if you'd like to participate in that, you might find a link to it on our website page. The Chamber's helping us out with it, as are several other local businesses, so that we get as much citizen engagement and comment on it, and because that's a critical part to completing the plan, so that we know what the needs are, what people's wishes are. Some people don't have anything to do with it. Other people have been very supportive of it and have provided some useful information as we move forward. I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll have some more information on city programs next week.